I believe most 49er fans have come to terms with the idea of Debo Samuel playing on a different team next year. Obviously, with him requesting the trade, it seems to be that's where things are pointing. And we know he had his worst year as a 49er last year, just really didn't feel like the same guy that we once saw back in 2021. And honestly, just feels like it has been a slow regression ever since that huge year that he had that landed him the big time contract. So, because of that, we are now discussing, well, what can we get in return for Debo Samuel? I have seen some people believe that Debo Samuel is still worth a lot, while I think others who kind of understand the landscape of the NFL and value and all of these things are singing a much different tune, myself included. I did a whole video on it yesterday saying that I would really be surprised if the 49ers were able to get a day two pick straight up for Debo Samuel. And we have ESPN reporter and 49ers insider Nick Wagner effectively saying the same thing. So let's take a look at what he said in a previous column that he had wrote for ESPN. He said, because Samuel's coming off a down year and entering the final year of his contract with other top receivers set to be available in free agency or trade, a day three draft pick and perhaps another late round pick would probably satisfy the San Francisco 49ers. And the reason why that would probably satisfy the San Francisco 49ers, and as I discussed yesterday, is they need to get something in return. And I believe what Deebo Samuel wants is an outright release. He just wants to be able to pick and choose where he wants to go, whether that's in division, could be Seattle Seahawks, could be the Rams. He wants to be able to pick his next destination, which would then also give him the opportunity to create somewhat of a bidding war in order to get him the most money possible. But the problem with that is that doesn't help the 49ers at all. And as we identified, the 49ers will be taking on a cap hit, even with a post June 1st trade. They would still be taking on a $10 million cap hit next season and a $20 million cap hit the following season. Now, that's substantially better than a pre-June 1st trade, which would have them on the hook for a $31 million cap hit. So there is substantial savings that they can recoup, but they will still they'll take a hit no matter what. So as I discussed yesterday, I do believe it's in the 49ers' best interest to get something in return. And I think that only means there are two options. Now, we do know that the 49ers went into a similar situation with Eric Armstead. They tried to trade him, trade falls through, and they just outright release him. And then we saw he was able to go sign with the Jags for a lucrative contract. I think that's what Debo wants. But the 49ers, I think they kind of have to control the situation a little bit more than Eric Armstead because Deebo Samuel touches the football. I think because he is a weapon, you don't want to see that weapon in division two times. Even if we do think that Deebo Samuel is kind of taking a step back in his, talent, um, you still, I don't think you want to see that two times a year, honestly, because you still have to respect Debo's skill set to a certain extent. You still have to understand that, who knows? We know that a motivated Debo is a really hard Debo to stop. And of course, he would be motivated to play the 49ers two times a year. At least I would think. So I think it really comes down to two options. The 49ers get something in return for him in a trade, or they force him to play the final year of his deal. And the 49ers did this with Jimmy Garoppolo. They have done this before, where they have basically said, you know what, you're an asset, you have value, and because of that, we're just not going to outright release you. So we either get something in a trade, or you play out the final year of your deal. So I do think that is a potential option, or the two options. Now they obviously could just outright release him, but I don't think that's what they want to do, especially taking on such a substantial cap hit. But the problem is, you're not really going to get a whole lot for him. But I think the 49ers have to get something for Debo. They have to turn a value. So whether it's straight up for picks or packaging him in a part of a much larger trade just as a piece, to go along with other picks to go and get a more impactful player, that could potentially be the option. But I do think that's what they have to do. I do think they have to get some value here, and I don't think you can just let Deebo Samuel walk out the door, because that doesn't benefit the 49ers, and all that they would get in return is a $10 million cap hit this year and a $20 million cap hit next year in the form of a dead cap hit. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this whole thing plays out. I think there are a couple rumors floating around that the Steelers could be a potential option for Deebo Samuel. Also, the Denver Broncos. Obviously, there's a video floating around from him on Radio Row talking up the Denver Broncos and how he thinks they're a really good team, which would have you believe that's his pitch to join the Denver Broncos. So those are definitely two teams that are potentially interested. I have one team that I think could be a sleeper for Deebo Samuel, and I think it could actually facilitate into a much larger trade. And I'm trying to decide, do I want to reveal that now? Because I think it's going to play into my mock draft. So I'm working on my mock. I'm cooking up a banger right now. You know what? No, I'm going to tease you. I've just decided. I was going to tell you what that team was, and I was going to probably tell you what the no, I'm going to so this is my tease for my mock draft 2.0. It is absolutely going to involve a trade of Deebo Samuel and a sleeper team and a big piece to get in return. So you gotta wait. You gotta wait for that. Hopefully, I can have the mock done either tomorrow. It will be done this week. I'll promise that. So mock 2.0 will be done this week. It will involve a Deebo Samuel trade, and it will be a blockbuster. Hey, that's all I can say. It's all I can say. I don't wanna reveal too much because like I said, I could tell you right now, but then I was like, that would spoil my mock. So you're gonna have to wait and see what that looks like. But I have a feeling you're gonna like what I'm cooking up in this mock. So we'll be patient. We got to be patient on this one. But I think you're gonna like it. But let me know what you think about what Deebo Samuel's value is. I kind of want to hear from you in the comments below. What do you think Deebo Samuel is worth in a trade straight up, not in a package, just straight up? Is he a fourth round pick, fifth round pick, sixth round pick? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.